This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, y'all. I got a chance to sit there and really take a chance to look at the press conference between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo. And here's my take on it. It was heated. Bad blood was brewing. Let me say it again. It was heated and bad blood was brewing. Both guys had a point in what they said. I know people are like, damn boy, he's picking Jermell Charlo. Why would he say that? They both had a point with what they said. I like both of their temperatures in the press conference. I think both fighters are confident. Tony Harrison is coming off of a controversial win, so he's feeling himself. But here's the thing. Tony Harrison has been misleading the public. His ass had a fake ass injury. Let me say it again. He has been misleading the public because he had a fake injury. His ankle injury was not real. Because how are you wearing Louis Vuitton shoes at the fight between Jermell Charlo and Jorge Cota with Louis Vuitton shoes? This was right before, the week prior to that. Within the last few days of that fight, you came out and said you had an ankle injury and pulled out. What people don't understand is Louis Vuitton shoes, they restrict blood flow through your ankles. If you've ever tried these shoes on, or if you ever had a pair, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about. Louis Vuitton shoes are blood restricting flow type of shoes. They restrict blood flow in the ankle area. So if you have an ankle injury, why are you wearing those shoes? If you guys go back and look at the fight between Jermell Charlo and Jorge Cota, go look at the pair of shoes that Tony Harrison had on. It's not adding up. Leave Hino's Sport to always address the elephant in the room. Let me say it again. Leave Hino's Sport to always address the elephant in the room. And that's the elephant in the room. Why are you wearing blood restricting flow shoes when you have an injury in that area? If anything, anyone that has an ankle injury, they're supposed to lay it up. They're not supposed to be walking around like that, the way he was walking around. And on top of that, they're supposed to sit there and take weight off of their ankle, not put weight on it. And they're supposed to make sure that there's blood flow going through the ankle, not restrict blood flow. So just think of that for a second. The deep thinkers out here in these boxing streets, the real G's, the super real G's, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets. So I'm glad Jermell Charlo was able to expose that foolery for what it was. So we know you weren't prepared in June. You didn't prepare yourself. Your training camp was weak. You was getting exposed and sparring. These are facts. Intel was coming out that you just wasn't at your best. So we get it. You pulled an okie doke. Let me say it again. You pulled an okie doke so you could find your rabbit ass away from that fight. But here's the thing, folks. And folks got to get this through their thick heads. Tony Harrison is now prepared. Because this time around, he went from June all the way to December. Because what he really wanted to do was rested, chilled, and party. All y'all got to do is look at one of the videos on social media and you'll see him saying that. He rested, he chilled, and he partied. This man is still celebrating off of the fact that he won a fight that technically he didn't win. Let me say it again. He won a fight that technically he didn't win. Because you guys know the cardinal rule in boxing. When a fight is close and it's controversial, right? The truth of the fact of the matter is, unless you take the fight from the champion remains the champion. Let me say it again. Unless you take the fight from the champion remains the champion. He didn't take the fight away from Mel. Mel made a lot of mental mistakes and a lot of mental lapses in the fight. He was looking for the knockout. Knockout artists and knockout specialists know this to be true. This is part of their dichotomy every time they step into the ring. When they're looking for the knockout, this is when things go bad for them. Let me say it again. When they are looking for the knockout, this is when things go bad for them. They can't be looking for it. They just got to be organically themselves in the ring, and then the knockout would eventually come. Let me say it again. They have to be organically themselves in the ring, and then eventually the knockout will come. You have to let the knockout come naturally, not forcefully. Naturally, not forcefully. And that was Jermell Charlo's problem. He got so caught up in wanting to making this Mel and a Lubin type of fight. And Tony Harrison, being the counterpuncher that he was figuring out Mel Charlo's rhythm, and he was counterpunching him. and he was landing the more accurate shots because Mel went away from the game plan, did not listen to Derrick James. But this time around, Mel knows what's at stake, because what's at stake is his reputation. Because remember, what's the Charlo's reputation? Lions only. Let me say it again. Lions only. They roar like lions, so they have to be like such. You can't sit here and have Jermell Charlo representing the mantle to the T and being undefeated and doing his thing, and then you're not doing your part of it, part of the side of the aisle of it. So my criticism on Jermell Charlo is to not get overzealous, because that's the issue in the first fight. He can't allow that to happen. Now in the press conference, there was a little bit of overzealousness with him. He has to control that. If there's any criticism I have with Jermell Charlo, is to not get overzealous, because this falls into Tony Harrison's game. So Tony Harrison mentally is still in a way kind of getting to Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo has to guard that. And he needs to seek guidance from Derrick James consistently so that he can make sure that he's even killed. Because this is the key for him. He's not fighting against Tony Harrison in this fight. He's fighting against himself. Let me say it again. He's not fighting against Tony Harrison in this fight. Just like the first fight, he's fighting against himself. And if he can stay grounded, and he can stay even killed, and he doesn't get overzealous, he will naturally knock out Tony Harrison. Because Jermell Charlo has boxing skills. He doesn't get enough credit for it, but he has it. And when these two fight, you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. This is He Knows the Sport. Check it out.